Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's my guy knows a guy on the Frenzy Sports YouTube channel. Crazy night in the NBA. Actually, just staying up late today, scanning the stuff for tomorrow. Big congrats to the Raptors clinching the playoff berth. It's pretty meaningful. The odds makers only thought we were going to win 35 games this season. So let's continue on to tomorrow. We'll take the underdog role. We'll take the underdog role. Big night in the NBA, some big performances as well. Just want to really just talk. It's casual right now, but I'll also look ahead to tomorrow's games. And yeah, just shout out to everyone and hope you guys did win some tickets today. It's pretty hectic. It was pretty hectic. Today was pretty much contrarian season today. You saw what was going on in a lot of the games, but man, that Raptors game, Scotty Barnes, bro, he's playing like he's been in the league for like 4 or 5 years. What's going on, Sean? My dog. You already know what's up. You wrote on all of them. Appreciate you. Yeah, the Raptors, they look as dominant as ever. They look as dominant as ever. What's going on, King Dre? Did you watch that game? It got really scary though. The Hawks came back like 2 times, 3 times, and they took the lead. They took the lead with like 4 minutes left. It was crazy. But Siakam, man, I promise you, Van Vliet, I was gonna tweet it. If they lost or if they didn't cover, Van Vliet had one of the most atrocious shooting performances ever. One of the worst performances ever, like of his season, of this season. I know he's somewhat hurt, but Van Vliet almost really cost the Raptors the win today. So yeah, he needs to sharpen up. Just like you said, without OG, we can't be slipping like that. If we get just a regular Van Vliet game, even just a slightly subpar Van Vliet game, we blow the Hawks out the gym today, straight up. We blow the Hawks out the gym today. Yeah, tomorrow's schedule is going to be really interesting, though. It's going to be really interesting. I'll pull up some stuff about that in a second. I just have some tweets to share as well. Uh, yeah, it's going to be 8 out of 9, 8 out of 9. So in the regular scenario, it's really 8 straight. Big stuff from Masai Ujiri. What did you guys watch today? Did you guys hit any tickets? Did you guys ride on any of the tickets from the live stream this morning? The NBA betting today live stream. Did you guys? Who took Jared Vanderbilt? He hit exactly 8. He went over 7.5. I was mad that he missed 2 free throws. Actually, I try to watch as much of the action as possible. I thought that the Wizards could be a sneaky side today. I did project some of their players to have good 3-point performances. Shout out to Corey Kispert. I just didn't play it. But yeah, Devin Vassell as well. Like you said, he attacked instantly against the Nuggets. I'll pull up some stuff right now. Hold on. I have some stuff to share. Bear with me. Yeah, you guys already see what's going on. We're in the playoffs, straight up. Raptors. And we want the Bucks. We want the Bucks. Trey Jones. Yeah, shout out to Gillis. To to Gillis on Twitter. He said, well, let me check the box score. Let me make sure I say it right. The Nuggets, that was like almost a must-win game for them. They really shit the bed. They really shit the bed. Popovich, mysterious. He has these guys ready all the time. Yeah, Trey Jones hit 14 points. He has a pretty bright future. Devin Vassell has a bright future, as I said. His skill set, I really thought it was going to pose the Nuggets problems. Been pretty consistent with Devin Vassell. He's a young player that doesn't really have many bad performances in a row. Uh, Jalen Green. Jalen Green's the most popular guy right now. He's the most popular guy right now. I really appreciate you guys as well. Finesse the Books, what's up? I know you were on the Raptors too. I know you were on the Raptors too, bro. Big time. Give me anyone but Boston. Yeah, we don't want to see the Celtics just know how to beat the Raptors. The Celtics just know how to beat the Raptors. There's a lot going on in the NBA right now, but the Celtics, it's gonna come down to matchups for them, their path. But the Raptors don't want to see the Celtics. They want to see like maybe the Bucks, maybe the Heat. I know I'm pretty high on the Heat as well, but hey, I'm just talking shit about my squad. Hey, we're the underdog either way, right? And then you have the Lakers. They're out. Unbelievable season they had. And with this win, the Toronto Raptors clinch at least the 6th seed in the East. They now have the playoffs And they've made the playoffs in 8 of the last 9 seasons. In the one season they missed out, they were in Tampa Bay and got Scotty Barnes as a consolation. Yeah. I always said if they ever give Masai Ujiri a top 10 pick, like again, pretty crazy. Don't even get me started on Siakam. I'm looking for some stuff I saved about, Embiid. Embiid. I'm going to look up the odds because Embiid and Jokic, the MVP race. Embiid said that if he doesn't win the MVP, that the voters hate him. The voters hate him. Like if they give it to Jokic, that he's going to feel like they hate him. I want to place a bet on the MVP. I placed a bet on Austin Matthews to win MVP in NHL. I know this is not an NHL setting, but I think the plus 180 is going to hit in a couple of weeks for Austin Matthews in the NHL plus 180. They're not going to give it to Scotty. I feel like they're not going to give it to him. They don't watch the games, bro. They're going to give it to Evan Mobley. Watch. He hasn't played for a month. They're going to give it to Evan Mobley. They made an account just for Embiid. It's crazy. Embiid's leading the league in points per game now. So, I mean, he had another monster night against the Pacers. They didn't cover, but I'm going to look ahead to some players for tomorrow. Just enjoying the games, enjoying watching the games, betting on the games. I appreciate all the support. Defensive Player of the Year. I just had a discussion with Sosa about that. And he's riding with Bam Adebayo. From like a really high odds from earlier in the season. But now, if you look at it, Marcus Smart is the favorite for Defensive Player of the Year. He's like minus 125. I mean, Marcus Smart is the best defender on the best team, defense in the NBA. If the Celtics are the best defense in the NBA by most metrics, and he's like the best defender on the best defensive team. So, I mean, they might give it to Marcus Smart. The only thing about that is that I believe over the last 28 years, only 25 of those years, a big man won Defensive Player of the Year. So it's like Mikal Bridges and Marcus Smart are the favorites, but a big man has won that award like 95% of the time, 90+% of the time. Bro, the Sixers are weird. That's a weird team. I'll be honest. I'm actually looking at the schedule for tomorrow. I'm going to go live again in the morning, so tomorrow's actually a pretty light schedule. We'll see how it goes. Some of the lines are open. Let me scroll down the page as well. Joel Embiid currently leads the league in scoring with 30.4 points per game. If he keeps it up, he would be the first center since Shaq and the first international-born player to win the scoring title. He would have the first 30-point per game season by a center since the NBA merger. That's major. I feel like it's tough, bro. It's really a 50-50 thing to me, because you can make a case for him and Jokic, but I think it's just Embiid's time. They gotta give it to Embiid. He's put in a lot of work. He could have load managed. Embiid could have load managed like last year, the last couple of years. For sure. I took the Nets at the half, first half minus 10.5. That's the only bet I had on that game. But definitely they let the Rockets backdoor at the end, and it's just one of those games. The Sixers did the same thing with the Pacers. I agree. I don't like how they wait for the awards. If it's a regular season award, make it right now. Like, just tell us before the playoffs start. Tell us even before the play-in tournament. The Wizards shot lights out. Shout out to Corey Kispert. Yeah, Mike Malone did say after the game that Jokic was fatigued. He's been carrying a team for 80 games. He just dissed everybody else in the locker room. So, it's gonna be close. They both have monster games. That the L looks really bad for the Nuggets though. That losing to the Spurs, while you're laying almost minus 300 on the money line to a team without DeJounte Murray, it's pretty crazy. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, Devin Vassell, he did really well. He went over his PRA, 21 and a half, and he went over his points, 14 and a half. I had the points. I had both listed, but I shared the points and bet the points. That was pretty good. Um, Jakob Pertl as well. He went over his points by half a point, but uh, they just applied pressure on the Nuggets. I watched the fourth quarter. The Nuggets just couldn't come back. They Jokic played somewhat deep into the game. They just couldn't get it done. Let's see who the Nuggets actually play next. Because they're not locked into the 6th seed, right? No, they're not. It's still up for grabs. But the T Wolves didn't do themselves any help tonight, any favors. They're going to play at the. Oh, no, sorry. They're going to play the Grizzlies and the Lakers. The Nuggets' next game is against the Grizzlies. I mean, the Grizzlies just looking forward to the playoffs. At this point in the season, they're pretty much locked into their seeding. So you can say that the Nuggets are going to be a team that's locked in on that day, but the Grizzlies are still a tough team to bet against. How about that game today that went to overtime, the Jazz and the Grizzlies, that game was crazy. The Jazz are a very, very unpredictable team. Jordan Clarkson had a big game. You just don't know what Jazz team is going to come out sometimes. They still have some high-quality pieces, high-value pieces, like very valuable pieces. Looks like Rudy Gobert is going to be a trade target. I saw a report that Rudy Gobert might go to the Jazz or the Raptors. I mean, to the Nuggets, not the Nuggets, the Raptors or the Mavericks. Crazy, right? He gets paid so much. What would that even look like? What would that deal look like, right? It's just early stuff. But Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, the Jazz, the days are numbered for the way that franchise is currently constructed. Spurs dominated. How many dogs won overall today on the spread or covered the spread? The Wizards, the Rockets, the Magic, the Pacers. It's pretty bad teams. The Spurs without their best player. Yeah, there were some ATS upsets today. There were some ATS upsets. Be really careful in these last two games as well. If you think today was bad, the injury reports are going to be unbearable in the last 2 days because some teams really are just locked in now. There's not going to be that much drama. Maybe in the play-in, there's going to be some teams that are posturing to make sure that ensure that they only have to play one game in the play-in tournament, but the participants of the play-in tournament are locked in 100% as of now. You guys see what Kyrie did, man. You guys see what Kyrie did. Kyrie snapped. Kyrie snapped. Ja is coming back for the playoffs. He's projected to. I mean, expected to. That's the wording. Expected to. Ja is coming back for the playoffs. I believe the Grizzlies will go on a run. I just don't want them to get. You're supposed to be extremely confident. It's professional sports, but I just want to see the Grizzlies play the same style of basketball in the playoffs when the whistles are a bit tighter, the game lengthens at the end of the game. There's a lot of there's not as much fluidity to the game. Usually, physicality breaks through in the playoffs as well. Teams that are highly physical. This is a team that's endured a lot of different moving parts in the season, but they've stayed consistent with dominating overall the Memphis Grizzlies. I think the Memphis Grizzlies have a really good shot to get to the conference finals. Actually, this is a team that is being discounted in the odds because of their young age. They're being discounted in the odds because of their young age. I'm not going to say teams fear them because at the end of the day, you have to prove yourself, right? Like if the Grizzlies were to lose in the first round of the playoffs and they don't resemble themselves, Ja comes back a little bit rusty or something like that. They could always say that we're young, we're young, but it would still be a massive disappointment because last year they lost in the first round, right? They think that they're more ahead of their development curve than the rest of the basketball, like the mainstream media did at the beginning, or even up until recently. Now they're all like loving the Grizzlies, right? Because they made everybody rich. Man, I think LeBron needs to shut it down. It looks bad. It'll look bad if he plays in these last two games. Donovan Mitchell, he's improved his playmaking. He's improved his playmaking. I'll say that. But does he make anyone better? No. Is he selfish? He pretty much is. What's up, Chris? What's up, Cameron? Rahul? King Dre, what's up? Mr. Untouchable? We the Webs. Yeah, no, I saw Giannis killed a lot of people with his points prop. Be really careful. Be really careful. Yeah, no, actually, there's no way to be careful about that. I wouldn't take Giannis under against the Bulls. He has a distinct matchup edge, actually. He just, it's like you said, he got into foul trouble. He just couldn't get into the flow of things, and then they crushed him, and his services weren't really needed, like on a regular night. They just owned the Bulls. The Bucks just owned the Bulls. It's crazy. Zach LaVine's knee injury derailed the entire Bucks season. So yeah, the Lakers are out. We saw what the Nets did tonight. They won pretty much a must-win game for them. It was a big spread, huge money line. They didn't cover at the end, but they did what they had to do. Let's check out the updated standings right now. We have the Nets. The Nets are up to 8th right now. Man, the Bulls and the Cavaliers did not do themselves any favors today, losing. The Nets, it's still possible for them to get to the 7th seed, actually. So, they're trying to position themselves so they only have to play one game in the play-in tournament. I'm sure for TV ratings, the NBA would love the Nets to play 2 games to get to the playoffs. This is a really volatile team. Just be really careful. It's a team that the futures odds didn't accurately reflect the level of dysfunction in the Brooklyn Nets organization. I'll just be completely honest. The Brooklyn Nets, with the amount of drama that they've had off the court, the moving parts, the injuries, the inconsistency with their coaching, this is a team that can they just all of a sudden flip the light switch in the play-in tournament? It's an unprecedented situation, right? That's why, I know it sounds crazy, but if I was to place a futures bet on the Brooklyn Nets, I wouldn't do it until after the play-in tournament, just in case disaster happens. Right now, it looks like they would play against the Hawks right now, right? Who's to say who would win that in a one game scenario? I'm being honest. The Hawks could beat them. But KD has a superior individual record against the Hawks. The 3x2s, where they have to hit a certain amount of threes in the first few minutes. Yeah, they're locked in. Every single lottery team is locked in. Now it's just about. Now I expect all of them to lose these last 2 games. Well, most of the lottery teams. Now they're locked in. The tanking is done. Now it's just some final posturing. The Pacers, look, you see what they did. They deserve an award for what they did. The Pacers and the Rockets. They went crazy. The Pacers might get a top 3 pick. They needed that. They were hurting. They needed that. All their talent was out the door. The Pacers, pretty bad organization right now. Yeah, that game had a lot of meaning tonight. The Phoenix Suns, they set their franchise record in wins today against the LA Lakers. They got to play the Lakers on a day where they set franchise history. This is a pretty solid squad right here. I'll be honest, at the beginning of games and in the last 2 games, I know that not everyone was playing, but they didn't look as motivated. They didn't look as locked in, but I know that this team has the chemistry to shine through. They're going to go on another run. Someone's going to have to knock them out. The Mavs, they have the defense. They have the defense to really hang with anyone, and the star power with Luka to keep pretty much any game close. And then, the Grizzlies have shown that they're not really scared of anyone. But I would say most of those other teams, the Suns will crush them. Like, those series will be over. Look at these experts. Some of these experts said the Lakers would win 70 wins, would have 70 wins this season. Yeah, the Hawks need to win tomorrow. Yeah, I'll get to the games tomorrow and get out of here, actually, in just a second. Appreciate everyone even watching right now. Wow, I actually didn't think many people will watch. I anticipated maybe just filming this, and maybe some of the people who subscribe to the channel, which I'm very appreciative of, would watch tomorrow. Maybe watch tomorrow. So if you appreciate if you can hit the like button as well. Scott Foster in the building. Why didn't you help the Lakers, bro? Why didn't you help them? They needed your help. You're supposed to help these guys, man. The Warriors, they have a secret weapon in Steph Curry that can come back at any time. But what's he going to look like when he does come back? I'll be honest with the Warriors. I think that they have a really good shot as well because no one really thinks that they do anymore. And I'll just be completely honest. I go back to that 1 year where Curry was also injured going into the playoffs, and he came back just in time to play the Blazers. I believe he came back for Game 3 against the Blazers. It was one of the really good years for the Warriors. And then he just came back and annihilated them. The Blazers were competing. But the first game he came back, and I remember like he forced the game to go to overtime and just went crazy in that game. If you guys could pull up the date, so it kind of gives me that vibe that he's just gonna come from nowhere and be like, "You guys really just forgot about me. Like I was in a slump, but I'm fresh. I really wasn't even hurt. I just needed some rest. My hand, some stuff going on with my hand. So Steph Curry just don't count anything out with the Warriors, because of the quality of the organization as a whole. I really can't count them out. It's going to come down to seeding. Right now, as it stands, the Warriors would play against the Nuggets. Jokic has shown that he's not scared of the Warriors, but he's alone. You're helping the Clippers this year? So Kawhi's coming back in a couple weeks then. We need to all be sprinkling the Clippers futures right now, just in case. You only help one LA team a year? I get it. It's tough, bro. I see Paul George is back. If they get out of the play-in tournament, Kawhi's uncle said he's coming back. I'll never bet against Kawhi. I'll tell you guys that right now. That's pretty much my favorite player. One of my 3 favorite players, essentially. And Kawhi, I won't bet against Kawhi ever. I got to see what he looks like when he comes back on the basketball court, but I'll never bet against Kawhi. You'll be a fool to. Because if he comes back, he's 100%. You see, how weary he is of getting hurt. Spliff? What's up, Spliff? How you doing, bro? The Clippers were just plus 8,000 2 weeks ago. Now they're plus 3,500. You see? Steve Ballmer moving the markets. It was very telling that Paul George came back, though. They just need to get out of the play-in tournament. They're playing pretty good basketball. Let's see how it is. Just going to check something for tomorrow. Man, oh man. Today was chaos a little bit. Yeah, if he's healthy. This is really like conspiracy level stuff, but if he's healthy, we could see something shot. If Kawhi comes back and he's healthy, you'll see something shocking this year. But, I could just be a fan speaking, I swear. But those odds that Spliff just shared are very telling. Hit the like button for me as well, everyone, if you can. I really, really appreciate you. Just going through some of the stuff that happened, and a lot of this is tied to betting anyways, so we'll have some bets lined up for tomorrow. I'll share some players on the way out. I'll share some players that I'm going to be targeting for tomorrow for props as well. For the people that are watching late night right now on Frenzy Sports. I have a pick tomorrow as well. I'm actually writing it up. I have to finish it. for the Champions League tomorrow. A Champions League pick on the way. The fact that he had to travel with the team. He had to travel with the team. It's a disaster. Complete disaster. I'm actually a LeBron fan, you know? LeBron is like an institution to the NBA. It's going to be really crazy when LeBron retires. Yeah, no, this Phoenix team reminds me of the second Spurs team. The second Spurs team that had the back-to-back series with the Miami Heat that were led by LeBron James, where they just were on a rampage after they lost. You know, Ray Allen hit the shot. The Heat won the title, and then they ran it back, and they had an amazing regular season. They crushed so many opponents, and then they were somehow underdogs again, I believe, against the Heat. But yeah, and they broke through. This Suns team really reminds me of that Spurs team. I'm telling you. I believe Chris Paul is the same age Tim Duncan was that year as well. Yeah, some interesting odds. Chelsea and Real Madrid, I'll be locked into that. 3 p.m. Eastern. I'll be locked into that. It's rough times for Chelsea right now. Rough times. We lost to Brentford. Then the coach he had a split with his wife after the game. Worst day ever. Come on. Never even seen that before. Yeah, that's definitely a coincidence. I'll never bet on a trend like that. You'll never catch me betting on like, oh, this team does this on Mondays, like they're 8-0 on Mondays or something like that. I'll never do that, even though it may be profitable. But um, statistically, most of those trends are just coincidences. That is pretty crazy, though. What's up, Technique? Check out my a couple of my recent tweets. There's a lot of information on my Twitter page at my guy knows a guy if you're interested. For Champions League, let's go. All right, Cameron, I'll message you. That one's going to be sneaky. Bayern's had some difficult results this season outside betting wise. Everyone's going to be on Bayern, but can they be stopped? Still no Alfonso Davies yet. So the four teams in the Eastern Playing Tournament: the Cavaliers, the Nets, the Hawks, and the Hornets. Crazy. The Nets and the Hawks being there is crazy. The Cavs, even though they regressed terribly due to injuries, the Cavs have the worst medical staff in the NBA, one of the worst. The Cavs and the Magic have the worst medical staffs. The Nets are pretty close, though. To the Cavs medical staff, it's like we haven't seen a full Cavs team since LeBron left, like healthy. 3 years, 4 years. That's tough because would I build a team around Cade Cunningham or Jalen Green? It's tough. It's tough. I would have to say Cade Cunningham based on what I've seen. I've watched a lot of Jalen Green, but you can make a case that Jalen Green is here to stay now because everybody bullied him after the dunk contest. We all did this to Jalen Green. We all bullied him. He got bullied on the internet. And after the horrendous dunk contest, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar got out of his seat, walked away. Rappers are calling him trash, and he snapped ever since then. He got healthy. He got healthy. They stripped the roster down, and now he's making everybody pay for everything they said. Like he's really playing like that. He's playing like it's game 7, like throwing up 30 shots. It's crazy. The complete green light. Okay, thanks for sharing that. For the Bayern Munich via Real match, thanks for sharing that. That's good to know. I know he missed the recent Team Canada match when we clinched the World Cup. Yeah, if he's coming back tomorrow, that's huge. Straight up. You guys are sharing soccer picks. Let's go. Let's go. Don't run everybody off. Yeah, I'd build around Cade. Sorry, let me get back to the question. I'd build around Cade because of his overall skill set, and I believe that he could be like a Paul George / point guard. He has like a Paul George type scoring ability, but he can also like really blossom as a point guard in this league. And I think that he can only get he'll get even better as a defender. The Pistons need to just develop their young core. They don't need to overreact and sign free agents to get in the way of their young core like the Knicks did with R.J. Barrett and quickly, signing Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker to try to cheat their way up the standings. Develop your young core. Maybe sprinkle some veterans on the bench. But don't mess up what you have going on with because Isaiah Stewart's really young too, right? He's really young. They have like a lot of players that can break through. They're putting out a lot of young players, and they're just hoping like 4 or 5 of them break through. They have a lot of players. Frank Jackson, like they have some key guys that can actually play in the NBA. They're probably going to stay in the NBA. For sure. Yo, the Cavs, I believe they're absolutely terrible ATS without Mobley and Allen. And since Allen went down, they're pretty bad ATS. Appreciate you, Sticky. So I don't even know what's on the screen. Yeah, you guys see what's going on. See if the rest of these lines are out for tomorrow. A lot of them are. Yeah, they are. Let me see what's going on. Don't mind me if I'm silent for just a quick second. I'm actually looking at some of the players that I had listed and making sure that they're playing for tomorrow. So I think Cade's out. Yeah, Cade Cunningham. No, Cade is in. Cade will be in. We'll be back tomorrow. We might be looking at Cade Cunningham tomorrow. We might be looking at. One second. It's crazy. I should have bet some of those leans from this morning. I said Corey Kispert over 1.5 threes today. I said Kevin Huerter over 13.5 points, but I just didn't want to bet every single one of them. Kevin Huerter had a really good game today against the Raptors. It felt like it watching it. I just forgot that he had 21 points. The Wizards back in action tomorrow. I'll be honest. I'll be looking at if Caldwell Pope plays tomorrow. I'll be looking at Caldwell Pope to bounce back tomorrow. He didn't play very well. His services weren't really needed. It was really strange rotations that Wes Unseld Jr., the coach of the Washington Wizards, was playing today against the T-Wolves, but it worked. It worked. He found what worked and just ran with it. Only got 5 3-pointer attempts today from Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, KCP. I'd be looking at KCP tomorrow to go over his threes if we get a decent line. Back-to-back for the Hawks traveling out of Canada. We have a line, Hawks -9, 227.5 on the total. Hawks defense sputtered a bit today. Yeah, today was a big game for the Suns. Franchise win. Big-time franchise win. And the line's already going down. It opened at -3.5. Now it's down to -3 for the Suns. So definitely keep an eye on the injury reports for that game tomorrow. And it's the late game on ESPN. So just keep an eye on that game. Everyone should be a go. Let me check out the injury report for the Suns on the Clippers side right now. Norman Powell is a game time decision to return. Big news. It's a pretty clean injury report overall for the Clippers. So, and after tonight, the atmosphere tonight in the Suns arena, we don't know if they're going to be able to maintain that same level of energy tomorrow. Although they've done that in the past, the Suns, they're a pretty good team on the second night of back-to-backs. This game, uh, you know, I'm not sure what to make of this game just yet. Actually, shout out to Cam Johnson though. If you guys tailed that today, Cam Johnson over 1.5 threes, that was very easy money. That was actually one of my favorite props today, Cam Johnson. But when I did the live stream in the morning, NBA betting today, it wasn't even available. So I thought it was maybe pretty mysterious right there. But about an hour before the game, it popped up, and it got crushed. It got crushed. Teams that have incentive tomorrow, the Bulls can improve their seeding. The game doesn't mean the world to the Celtics. I would say the Celtics still have an outside chance to get to the number one seed, but doesn't really matter right now. Either way, they're going to play someone coming out of the play-in tournament, which at this stage is unpredictable. Don't really know what to make of the Celtics going into tomorrow's game, but yeah, I mean, I don't think these guys are going to rest though for the Celtics. Guys like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they have to keep that motor going into the playoffs. There's going to be a gap where they're going to be able to rest during the play-in tournament. So it's not like the imperative is there for them to like play many games every day, right? So I actually think Jason Tatum could have a pretty big game against the Bulls tomorrow. Short turnaround for the Bulls as well. They've just been waiting. The Celtics have just been waiting. The game does mean a lot more tomorrow to me, to the Bulls. I'm not sure about this line here. -6.5. The Celtics, look how far they've climbed. Could you have imagined this spread in December? No. Celtics laying 6.5 in Chicago. They probably would have been +3. Yeah, Jason Tatum. He might explode tomorrow against the Bulls. Jason Tatum might explode tomorrow against the Bulls, everyone. Rookie of the year. What the odds were taken down before today's games. They're probably going to put them back up before tomorrow's games. Give us odds for the last two games, rookie of the year. But I think it's pretty much. I mean, I think Scotty may have done enough, bro. I don't know. It's a really outside chance. A lot of people, some people I know, they're holding the +1400 from the beginning of the season. It's going to be really tough. It's going to be really tough. Precious Achua. You guys seen this guy play basketball in the last 2 months? Let me know. The Utah Jazz are laying 18 points against the OKC Thunder tomorrow. It's tough right there. It's tough not to take the points. The Thunder. I was joking the other day. I was kind of joking, but most profitable team of all time, right? It's a lot of points, though. After today's game in overtime, will they have that same motor, that same consistency? The Jazz could just crush the Thunder in record-breaking fashion if they were truly locked in with up to the standard that they set for themselves last year, in the regular season. But +18, it's looking kind of crazy. Keep an eye on the Nets game as well. Second night of a back-to-back just going into the playoffs. They're pretty much locked into 7 or 8. I believe that they could beat the Knicks without Kyrie. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but just keep an eye on that game tomorrow. Dallas as well. Four seed. They're pretty likely to play a matchup against the Jazz in the playoffs. They could no, actually right now it's swapped over against the Nuggets. Against the Nuggets. Now these standings are wrong, I believe. What I'm looking at, I don't know what I'm looking at. It's still not clear. who the Mavericks are going to play in the first round of the playoffs. I think the Jazz would rather play the Mavs than the Warriors, but we don't know about Steph Curry's status. But the Mavericks will take the Jazz out in a 7-game series. Hope you guys enjoy the day tomorrow. I will be back live in the morning. Turn notifications on the channel. Just wanted to come on and talk some basketball and talk about some of the stuff that was going on with the betting today, and just recap some of the picks, talk about tomorrow's games. Tomorrow's card is a bit tricky, I'll be honest. Tomorrow's card's a bit tricky, but there are some players like Jason Tatum that I'll probably be targeting in some fashion. Just like I said, 1 second. Cade Cunningham as well. We'll be looking at these players tomorrow, but I'll come up with my list for the morning show, and we'll see. I won't force anything. If there's no bet, there's no bet, right? But I know I'm betting on the Champions League tomorrow. We're going to cash out on that Champions League tomorrow in the afternoon. Hope everyone has a great night. Going to get back on some of the stuff I'm doing for tomorrow's games. Really enjoy you guys your company. You're just talking the games. Josh, what's up? Chris, Mr. Untouchable. I'm Young, Sticky, Rahul, Matt. How's everyone doing? Jackman, King Dre, Cody, Justin, Technic, Cameron, Spliff, Finesse the Books, Scott Foster, John. Yeah, I hope everyone enjoys their night. See you guys another time. Have some stuff going on for the Champions League tomorrow. I'll drop it on the channel. Let's try to cash out in the Champions League.